Okay, you'll see when you come into my studio space that on the wall that kind of like bridges to the kitchen, there is something about Geniza. And one of the first pieces of energy, I guess, like just like something that felt like, oh, I can get involved here. Like, of course, I tried with my emotional aid kit and like to fit other work that I've been doing into Jerusalem. Like, of course, that was my mind. And like the Dove of Inner Peace was my transition project. So I was carrying it with me wherever I went. And obviously a white dove is going to ignite in Jerusalem. Like, what else do you think the biggest symbol here is? Like, nice one, clear. And like I had a medicine woman in Canada at this powwow. When I told her the vision I had, she gave me such like a bracha, like if you follow the dove, like don't worry about bringing medicine to other people. If you bring it to yourself, the other people will learn how to bring it for themselves. She totally like blessed me, and I was like, how did you know I was talking about a white dove? And she's like, well, there's one over your head. And so for a year and a half, I was following this dove project and it wasn't catching on. I was like, but I had a medicine woman, bless it. Like, what do you mean? I should be famous and rich and whatever you think that happens in order to reflect that you're onto the right thing. Like you're doing the right thing. So we live in a society where money and fame and affirmation, like endless affirmation, shows us we're on the right track. And I guess through whatever training I have accepted on my way and been blessed by to have at this point of transition in the universe, it's like hang on for dear life, pray with all your might, and like maybe something good will happen to you. Like not you explode apart, and maybe something good will happen through you. And that feeling is like really just like an activating electrical current where you feel the feeling of being in exactly the right place at the right time, like coordinates, like click. Massive conceptual art project, we can look at it that way, like a global conceptual art project where everyone participates with their creative spiritual practice. So I can frame it in that way. We can frame it on so there's a lot of traditions that use the elements I'm going to bring into it. And so to come back to my original story, sorry I don't lose the thread, it just takes me a while. The one place I felt to get involved with a new idea, not just this dove, was at the Kotel. Now, we did not leave our remaining temple wall to look crumbly like there's a remaining temple. So many cultures have chosen to meditate on destruction, on crumbling, on bringing it down, which is what's going to happen to the system. The dismantling of the system leads to a decay, and that leads to fear. What we have is a quite well restored, respectable wall. Like you literally are just walking up to a wall, and you're like, it's just a wall. But it's like, the field is like wild there. It's wild. And lately, I mean, God could only have blessed us with this gentlest awakening. So this project, called Binding Light, is born out of my time that I spent at the Kotel trying to solve the problem of what happens when the notes fall out of the wall and litter the floor. And to get close to the wall to pray, you have to step on other people's prayers. Eventually, I realized, like, okay, like, I don't know why I'm having this idea. I don't know why I'm in Jerusalem. I don't know why I'm so connected to Judaism right now. And I don't really even, like, get into the whole Kotel thing so much. But I must do something about this. And I started this Geniza campaign, like, and I had the vision like last May probably, and it took time. And then when I was back for this Hanukkah, I was like, you either do it now or you don't do it. So I basically got permission from the office. Like I started in this kind of gentle way. And I started in the summer planting the seeds, being like, hello, I am a patron of your arts, and I'm noticing you have a prayer problem. Like it's not a garbage problem. You have a prayer problem, which is people step on each other's prayers. And that is upsetting to someone who prays. Even though I don't put notes in, it's just like when you watch someone that's in that prayer, Like, it's the first step. It's a first step. And so that's really the biggest learning. So all of Hanukkah, rain or shine, I kept my commitment. I went there, I stitched that thing, I like spoke to people, I had a Geniza can, I had all sorts of things. And like a lot happened, and it's a beautiful story, beautiful time. And I put together a PowerPoint presentation, which I never do, and I sent it to the Kotel people, and I'm like, can we have a Geniza box? And it just says, respecting other people's prayers, right? Is like actually a mitzvah, like something like that, right? Like to give the Talmud on it, or to give, but like if you pray before someone else, like if you pray for someone else first, your prayers are more likely to be answered. I learned really that writing out your prayer has power. And so nothing happened with it because of male politics. I had to like talk to the rabbis, and like, it's like I got sent on a religious adventure for like a Geniza box, like Geniza box. And I was like, even don't have anything to do with me on it. Just please, for those that are aware, have a Geniza box. We can't. Where do we put it? You know, they don't. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I am now spending my time fighting for a Geniza box in the women's section of the Kotel. Like, how did I go from like, I wasn't in Mount Shasta, but it feels that way. Like the top of Mount Shasta to here, like the bottom of like, what are you talking about? And I was super triggered and I worked through it, and I talked to the people that I talked to, and Corona hit. Like, just whatever. Life has changed. Let's just refocus our energy. In that space, I transitioned from the dove, and I can kind of show pieces around it, from the dove into the notes, and I created my first note projects there, and it's also where I began doing High Torah. And High Torah is where, I work with the Parsha of the week, and bring in kind of like the highest, like this, like the most associative relationships. So I'll do it this week about the Meraglim, like, and kind of relate it to what I'm feeling in the energies of the world around. So Kotel, this still started at the Kotel, and I had thought of it for the Bar Silo, but this idea of really introducing to Jerusalem specifically prayer, like for a non-Orthodox audience. Like, we have a divide here of people that are Orthodox and people that are not, and it's like, if you are in Jerusalem, you are a spiritual person, you better get a spiritual, whatever. I invite you to a spiritual practice, but like, you're here because you know how to pray, and there's no mistakes in this time. And if we focus our energy, like, and we believe, we will bring a new day. We are that good, and these times are real, and da-da-da-da-da. So I came up with this one, and the idea was, you write a prayer and you add it onto a chain. And it's related kind of to like the Kabbalistic notion of the golden thread. And I wrote these prayers to start it off. I wrote them at the Kotel, and now I have no idea what they are. Like, total mystery to me what I wrote. But I have these threads, and these are a few other ones. And, it was rainy all winter, strangely enough, so every project I was going to do worked with paper or really light materials, and so it was either windy or rainy, and so it was never right for me to contribute there. So I eventually, for a lot of reasons, pulled my energy away, then Corona happened, and now I'm kind of over here. So with that space, I have started to shift the project. It's now, again, it is about writing out a prayer, and there's different ways into it, but it's really, you can see one behind me, like kind of floating there. It's really about taking some time, taking some focus, taking some energy, and writing out a prayer for the world. Like, really a prayer for your life. So this is the way that I invite the project, like invite people to start it. So write a prayer for yourself, like, what do you want in this life? Don't be, like, just what do you want? And if you're shy, like, give gratitude. Like, give gratitude, like, thank you for this life and this opportunity. I'm humble before you. And, give praise, like, everything is amazing. Like, all the blocks that I need to create my dream are right in front of me. I just need help seeing them. And then go into your prayer. Like, I want to, and for me, I want to awaken creative spiritual practice in the world. Like, give yourself permission to pray and beg and create with a sense of totally connected consciousness. And know that you are good, and know that you are divine, and stay humble, like stay connected. And your creative practice, there's a million ways in, and here's a starting point. That's my project. So the starting point is like, ask for what you want. Pray. Like, give it up. I want this. So I want that. And so the way that it works is you take some pieces of paper. So again, there are many different styles. As you can see, I'm playing with, this will be a spiral that goes up. You could thread it and do something kind of nifty like this, or stitch them together like this. But I also, because again, I was saying that I'm not really a nifty person, one of the things that I was doing back there is really just taking a strip of paper, writing whatever I want on there, folding it up, and then just tying a string around, and then just kind of giving a pull, okay? And then double knotting it, and kind of building a chain from there. And again, however you build your chain of prayers, and that was like an original name, but I like it better, binding light. And now I'm using what I would like to imagine as like the color of techelet, so for the tzitzit, and then hang them so that they can either be outside in the wind or inside in your home or in a park or things like that. Binding the prayer. So that's where this is called binding light, because for me, and I think for many people, certainly in the Hasidic practice and practices of the New Age and Kundalini Yoga and many other sacred traditions, we can define awareness as light. And a prayer is connecting us to our highest awareness. We're calling it in and we're channeling that, and we're asking to bring it out into the world. So this is specifically filled with what I want to put out in the world. And when I see it, it energizes me. And the vision that I had was like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Like, if you're marching and you're protesting, or even like those days are over and the protests have passed, you look up, especially after coming out of Corona and being all like afraid to go on the streets, and you come out and you see like people are praying for each other, or praying for themselves, or praying for a better world. And you know, put out the prayer. I pray that everyone prays for good things for everyone. Like I pray that we can all get along. Like I pray there's room for all of us to be in sacred alignment together and get everything we want. Like that would be great. Elna Rafana La. So it's like let's heal our world together. Let's beg for Or Chadash, like for those that work with Or Chadash, or new insights, enlightenments, awakenings, whatever tradition you're working with, to just figure something new out. Okay, namaste.